What is up? What is up, the Steem blockchain? Today I want to talk a little bit about the future of flow. And this is inspired by a post from Indigo Ocean that was called Being a Part of the Flow of Well-Being. And I feel that this relates so much to the um, the whole movement towards flow. That everything, so usually when you, for example, when you read a book or when you read an article, you can, maybe something talks about music, like, oh, all the music is now just being streamed. It's not as limited just because of digital abundance, basically. And you take a look at the digital industry, and what you realize is, let's say someone talks about music, like music went from limited, kind of scarce, to just flowing. Spotify, Pandora, iTunes Music, all these services, Google Music, Google Play, all these services, YouTube, they use flowing, they use streaming, and this creates more abundance. This makes abundance like the automatic mode, let's say, of life. And the cool thing is, let's say I read this, okay, and they talk about music, but usually you can apply this. Usually it's not really about the label music, it's about some larger movement thing that goes on that's going to affect other areas as well. So I feel that digital value is going to go the exact same direction as music, for example, that it's just also going to flow more. That when it was more physical, it was more limited, it was slower, it was 10x less in value. Okay, so tokens needs to flow. And I'm gonna quote this because this is so nicely said from Indigo Ocean. And it says, turns out that being compassionate, considerate, and generous is very much in harmony with the very nature of that flow. The easiest way to get more of what we want in life is to learn how to notice what others need and value, and then see what we can do to help them achieve it. When that's what inspires you, you find that you're living life within the flow of which gives everything to us. You're then connected to infinite abundance of well-being, and be able to dip our straw in any time we want and take a nourishing sip ourselves. So this is a really key. The easiest way to get more of what we want in life is to learn how to notice what others need and value, and then see what we can do to help them achieve it. Let's think about that for a second. Let's think about that. Okay, so the ability for you to give other people what they want, and let's say see what tools we have. We have the internet. Okay, so clearly in this flow industry, people starting to realize that if we just give you what you want, if we just flow value in that direction, we're gonna be fine. Like, if a person wants something, let's give them that little thing. What we realize in many ways is what we are giving away, it is so abundant. Like, let's say we have some tokens. Okay, we notice that even tokens, what did it cost to create these tokens? It was very close to a zero marginal cost, which means it's basically free to create these tokens. Okay, so we're realizing we have this abundance source that we're sort of creating, and that clearly, if whatever you want, like, let's just give it to you. Isn't that like the new paradigm shift? Whatever you want, let's figure out a way. Let's figure out a way to flow value in that direction, and we're good. Like, we really are good. So consider this. What is it that we're getting in return? We're getting energy in return. Now, energy is a scarce asset. Energy is way more scarce than tokens. Energy being pushed in, being moved into a direction. Clearly, that's at least 3x worth more compared to the tokens. I think it's actually more like 10x or 30x. So we're getting a good deal. We're getting a really, really good deal, which means that these flow networks of just having value flow into specific areas that we decide is the ideal. And it's ideal that it gets automated, since you can have more people if it's on auto. And let's look at even content that is being created. That is going to be close to zero free as well. This means that there is no piece of content that can be produced that is actually magical. We thought about that when the internet was new, that, well, some pieces of content are gonna be worth so much. Oh my god, some pieces of content is gonna be so much, it's gonna be worth so much. But we realized that, I mean, we're moving into sharing network. We're moving into sharing networks, which means that it just makes sense that the value flows automatically, because there's not really going to be individual pieces that's going to stand out in a mega way. The best thing then becomes, well, let's just trust the human. Let's just empower the human that has done some cool things in the past, and we become the monitors. We just becomes monitors of systems that basically mostly flow themselves. And we look it over a little bit, but in general, what it means is there's a lot of work that we don't have to do. We can look at other things. We can look at bigger things to do. It's like, I said it in the past, this Steem blockchain, it should be, let's say, 1% of a person's life. And they use that as leverage to get more value, to invest that into a field that give them more value in return. So let's say the Steem blockchain, the network is already up. The network is generating stuff, right? So it's the best that we humans do what we're good at. We're good at building brands. We're good at building up social capital. We're good at finding new leverage points. We're not good at the intellect tasks. We're not good at trying to dissect every single thing. That is, robots are going to have authority in that direction with artificial intelligence. Machines do most of the manual labor. We humans are not good at that. Like, the intellect tasks that I see a lot of people trying to invest into is a waste of time. We should focus more on automation, social capital, and just having value flow. Like, whatever people want, let's just give it to them. And they are going to be like a node that automatically generates more energy. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to invest more energy. They're going to have more buy-in because they see that the network is stable. The value system is not as reliable on the intellect mind, the intellect human, the manual human that coming with their eyes. I need to do, like, why? Why do we need this human? I don't get it. Like, I really don't. Obviously, this is a little bit of a paradigm shift. We're used to humans having a lot of power. We're not going to have power in this new world. We are going to build social capital. We're going to build brands. We can invest in trust and love and those fields. Yes. But the logical ways, the intellect ways, it's only, like, the intellect is good for survival. Like, it's like, but when survival is taken care of, like, we need the intellect for survival in the world, but outside of survival, the logical mind, like, it becomes a waste, right? Or like its use case, it has diminishing returns. Like, there's only so much you can max out the intellect with. before we're handing over the authority of the intellect to other systems. So what I'm saying is the tokens should be in automated flow systems. The best part about this is humans don't then have to think about value. Where's the value? What is the value? We should just focus on empower the network. And how can we empower the network? By giving our energy. Feeding the machine, basically. So, and the human brain is so valuable. We don't know like what a person can create. We don't know the amount of magic they can do. Like if you truly empower a person, I mean, we might create 50 billionaires. We don't know who the next genius is. So it's wise that we spread ourselves in clever ways, where we don't just rely on our eyes. Our eyes are super limited. Even our data that we have access to, it's super limited, which is why these flow networks really need to come into place, where it's so empowering to people and it's so not reliable on people that it can work in magic ways. And it can really help the movement towards digital jobs. Digital jobs, creating stability, growing the industry. Humans have to look at these bigger things in life than just content creation. And I think that humans are going to be fine. I think humans are very intelligent. But it means that they have to adjust. They have to adjust a bit what they're doing. Like the paradigm shift that we used to scout for talent and all these things. But there are better systems to do it now. And better systems is just find out what a person want to do. And it's like, do a person want to have a digital job, or do they just want to derp around? Like, if they want to derp around, like, that's fine. But shouldn't we invest in people, mainly trying to find those people that want to have a digital job, comes every day and do something amazing? That is what I think that most people want to dive deeper into and have value flow in those directions. So life is all about flow, and flow generates more of an abundance feel. So even the idea of it generates abundance. Like it doesn't have to be value that a person cash out, but it makes a person feel more abundant. Like flow systems, manual systems, it's based on like poverty. It is like really like that a person expensive piece of life has to go and do something manual. The global world, like, it's not really moving towards that. It moving towards more efficient systems, more frictionless systems, and that's what I'm looking forward to in the future. So if you want to read the full article, it's a very nice article. I highly recommend it. And yeah, so thanks Indigo Ocean for writing this article. It inspired this video. I like to talk about these topics. I'm very passionate about them, and I feel that everyone should try to find their own sort of genius, sort of try to find that in this new sharing economy. Like, what is it that you can share that you think has some form of value to other people's life? Like, how can it sort of enrich other people's life in some way? And like, try to dive deeper into that. Yeah, have a great day, Steam Blockchain. Bye bye.